In most of the cases, when we create the Docker image locally, then we have to upload that image to some online platform, and using that image we want to create some cloud service. That thing is possible through AWS ECS. In the earlier lecture, we have covered the concept of creating the image in the local system and then uploading that image to the ECR. That step is common. First, you have to create the image. Now, task versus service and these things we will cover in the later part of this video. First, open the command prompt. Let's start by doing some practical. Okay, it already exists. In the earlier lecture also we have covered this topic of creating the image. I am repeating some steps. I am showcasing you how we can do the create the image locally and then we can upload that image to the ECR. Let's open the VS Code. In the VS Code you can see we have one file app.py. This will run as the service. Now here we have exposed the port 5000 and there are two URL, health and the normal. This is the simple structure. We will expose this API, you can say the service to the ECS, and then we can access using this port 5000. Now Docker file is a simple file where we have listed down the steps to create the image. You can watch the previous lecture to understand the complete architecture. So here we are importing the base image of the Python. Then we have created the app folder inside the container. Then we have copied the requirement.txt inside that folder. Then we have executed this command requirement.txt. And again we have copied the app.py to the working directory inside the container. We have exported this port. Then we have executed the app.py inside the container. This is the requirement.txt. Here we have specified the library and the version which we have to install. These steps already we have covered in the last lecture. Just this API part is new. This code is something different, but although the creating the image, uploading to the ECR and the steps are already we have covered, and you can watch the previous lecture for complete overview of that part. Let's see whether this image is already available or not. Okay, let's select the Docker first. Docker images. You can see ECS class API demo is already available. To build the image, if your image is not available, then you can easily build this image using the Docker command docker build, tagging that image with the name ECS class API demo. If you want, you can test whether your code is running fine or not by running that image. A main part is we have to push that image to the ECR. How we can do that? First step is to tag that image. See, tag that image. This is the image ECS class API demo latest. First step is to tag that image. We have to tag that image according to the naming convention of the AWS. Here, this is the AWS account ID. This is the region. Then this is the repository. If repository not available in the ECR, then you have to create that. Let me tell you how to create the repository. First, before creating the repository, let's log in to the AWS system. We are logging to the AWS ECR using the profile ECR access. Now again I am saying ECR access is, you can say, the user profile. If you haven't created that, you can watch the previous lecture. Here we have covered this concept of creating the profile. Then the region is the South 1, profile is this. We are using the login password and we are logging into this account. Login is succeeded. Now to create the repository, you have to specify the repository name, then the repository name, then the region which you have to create, then the profile to which you want to create. Now we are using the profile ECR access. Already we have created this, so we don't need to do that. Now we have to push that image. To the AWS system. It will map your local image to the AWS repository. The name should be same of the AWS repository and your local image. That's why we have tagged the image to the naming convention of the AWS system. Now log into the AWS. Nowadays it is asking for the MFA code. You can see this is the ECR Python demo. This is the repository which I have created using the command prompt, and this is the image which we are using for last v1. Now search for the IAM user. These are the users. In the earlier lecture we have added the permission of the ECR. Now we will add the permission of the ECS also. Let's see. Go to the add permission. So already I have added the permission here, but if you have watched the last lecture, then we have added only this permission, EC2 container registry full access. You have to add this ECS also. How we will do that? Go to the add permission, attach policy directory, then search for the permission. Search for ECS. Okay, this is the policy name, Amazon ECS full access. Now first step is to create the ECS cluster. How we will do that? Search for the ECS container service. Now click on this button, create cluster. In the create cluster, add the target only, add name, cluster name, imagine ECS demo cluster, anything you can give. ECS demo cluster 2, I have named that. Service which we are using is the Fargate. Fargate is the serverless service and it is quite versatile and flexible. That's why we are using that as compared to the EC2. Now we have to add the container details, not in the cluster. Just create the cluster here. Meanwhile it is creating, open the another tab. Here go to the task definition, create new task definition, name it class API test task tuple 1. Again Fargate. You can specify it is a very light service, so 0.25 vCPU is enough, more than enough. And container details, you can give the name, container name, and image URI. You can browse the image from here. Simple. You have to just select the ECR image which are uploaded from the local system to the ECR. This is the image which we have selected. Now select image. Port is again 5000. Let's check if we are not missing anything. The container port is 5000. Task execution rule and the logs, already we have done that. Now create the task definition. Create. Now what we have to do? Simple. Go to the cluster. This is the ECS cluster 2 and this is the ECS demo cluster. Open any of this. Now create the service. Choose the task which we have created right now. We have created the task class API. Right now we have created the task class API task tuple 1. Select this. Now what do we mean by the capacity? Capacity means we are mentioning whether we want to use the Fargate or any other container service. So there are two types of container service, Fargate and the Fargate Spot. Fargate is more reliable because it will allocate the permanent space for you, but in the Fargate Spot it will be deallocated once there is a load in the AWS region. So I recommend you to use the Fargate. Although if you want like first three tasks will be run on the Fargate compulsory, then after that task will run on the Fargate Spot instances, then that will be okay. There is a diagram which can explain you this part. So for example, there are 5 tasks which will be running in a parallel. So we have specified the base 1 and the wait 1. So it means first task will be compulsorily allocated to the Fargate, then remaining 4 tasks will be divided on this ratio. 1 task to the Fargate and remaining tasks to the Fargate Spot. This helps in resource management and you can say and the financial management, also budget management, because Fargate Spot are far less cheaper than the Fargate. But although it comes with a disadvantage that it will be deallocated once there is a heavy load. Now create this. We have created the service, it will take some time. Meanwhile, open another tab and check that whether your security group allows you to hit the 5000 IP 5000 port or not. That is the main thing. For notes, you can easily download from the link given to the GitHub. You can download the notes. Right now it is 80, so you have to change that to the 5000. Edit inbound rules. You can delete this rule, create add rule, custom TCP. If you remember, we have in the code, in the API.py, we have exposed the port 5000, and in the Docker file also, we have created the image which is exposing the 5000 port. We will open this for all the APIs. Save rule. It will take some time to get the service initialized. Now it is running. This is the service name. Go to the task. Open the task. Go to the networking. This is the public IP. This is the public IP of the task. You have to just copy that. Now this is the HTTP. Now open this. If you can see our API working as expected. So we are sorted now. What we have done first, we have created the Docker image locally, loaded that image to the ECR. Using that image, we have created the task definition, and then we have created the cluster, and using that cluster, we have created the service, and we have run the task inside that service. In the next lecture, we will cover if we are running multiple tasks on a parallel basis for the same service, how we can manage that, because every task has its own IP address. So, what the best mechanism to handle that? We will cover that thing in the next lecture. Thank you.